We are picking back up in lesson 4.6. If you flip back to the front, we did solving using square roots, right? When it was x squared in numbers, you had to get that x squared by itself, and then square root both sides. Then we did the solving where you had to factor that left side into a perfect square, so factor into two identical parentheses and square root. Then on the back side, we were completing the square. Well, the front one too, but okay. Step one, and I don't know if you guys are flipping back and forth or whatever, but step one was rewrite the equation in x squared plus bx equals c. And I put the 1 on here just as a reminder. Like it has to be a 1. It can't be anything else. So as we look at our example here, 3x squared plus 18x minus 3 equals 0. What do I have to do to get it x squared plus bx equals c? Okay, so first of all, that minus 3 has to move. So we're going to add 3. Add 3. So at that point, I now have 3x squared plus 18x. I'm going to leave a blank. And then 0 plus 3 on the right is 3. Okay, ask yourself, have you completed step 1? No, because it has to be 1x squared. I have a 3x squared, so I need to divide by 3. If we divide that one term by 3, we're dividing everything by 3. So x squared plus 6x, leaving a gap, equals 1. Now have I completed step 1? Yeah, we've completed step 1. Okay, step 2. What is step 2? Okay, you are adding b over 2 squared to both sides of the equation. So first of all, ask yourself, what is my b that I'm using?
6.
Okay, you have to use your current b, which is what I have right there. So b is 6. So that means I'm doing 6 divided by 2 and squared. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So what am I doing with 9? I'm adding it to both sides. So I'm going to add it here on the left, which is why I leave my gap, and add it on the right. Have I completed step 2?
Yes.
Okay. Step 3 is what? Factor the left. What's the square root of x squared? X. What's the square root of 9? 3. What's my middle sign right here? Plus. So x plus 3. You could factor into two parentheses, but 3 times 3 is 9 and 3 plus 3 is 6, right? Yeah. So that works. Clean up the right while we're at it. 1 plus 9 is 10. That was step 3. What's step 4? Square root both sides. So we're going to square root the left, square root the right. What happens when I square root this parentheses squared? Yeah. Square root and square cancel, so we're left. Don't forget plus or minus sign. Step 5. Solve for x. So if it's x plus 3, I'm going to subtract 3. That means I'm also going to subtract 3 over on the left, or on the right, I mean. Now, you technically write plus or minus radical 10 minus 3. But to me, it's just not good math, though. That plus or minus I'm going to put in the middle, so I'm going to write this as negative 3 plus or minus radical 10. How many answers did I have? Or do I have? 2? One of my answers is negative 3 plus radical 10. My other answer is negative 3 minus radical 10. So you still have two answers here. And that's the idea of what we should be looking for. When it's an x squared equation, general rule of thumb is there are two answers. Okay? Questions on the completing the square? Refer to those steps to help you. Okay. We have one more topic to cover, and that is writing an equation in vertex form. On the quiz we took. Okay, in the first half of the chapter, one of the things we've already done is we've taken an equation from standard form and put it in vertex form. But that time we used that x equals negative b over 2a. Okay? We've got another method to do the exact same thing here. And we're using our completing the square idea is what we're doing here. Okay? So, first of all, it wants it in vertex form. Do you guys remember your vertex form? Okay. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So that's what they're looking for. Now, in order to do vertex form, we have to complete the square. So we're using some of those same steps. If you think about step 1. Step 1 was x squared plus bx, and then equals c on the other side, right? Okay, step 1 here is similar. I have a y equals though, so I can't put the c on the other side. So what we're going to kind of do is we're going to break it up. We're going to have an x squared plus bx, and we're just going to move the c down a little ways. So I'm going to rewrite this, y equals, and I'm going to actually put parentheses here, squared plus bx in parentheses. I'm going to leave a gap, and I'm going to end my parentheses. And then what else do we still have that I'm missing? The minus 6. So the minus 6 goes down outside the parentheses. So it's still the idea of x squared plus bx equals c, except I didn't move the c to the other side of the equation. I just scooted it down. Okay? I kind of scooted it down, set of parentheses here, left a gap. Step 2 was add b over 2 squared to both sides, right? Okay, similar. We're going to tweak that step a little bit, but we are still going to do the b over 2 squared. Okay, so what's my b? B is 4. So if b is 4, that means I'm doing 4 divided by 2 and squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So 4 is what I would normally add to both sides, right? Okay. So we are going to add the 4 in the parentheses. So you are adding the 4 to the x squared plus bx. Now normally, if we add 4 to one side, we add it to the other side to keep it balanced, right? Again, the other side is a y equals. I can't really touch the other side. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add 4 in the parentheses. Except it's not going to be an add 4 outside the parentheses. Subtract 4. Why are we subtracting 4? Yeah. It's still on the same side of the equation. This is a plus 4, so in order to keep it balanced, we're going to subtract 4. The difference is now I'm on the same, cancel each other out. Okay? So that is our step 2. Instead of adding that amount to both sides, we added up here, subtracted out here. We kept it balanced. And then step 3 is kind of our final step. We're going to factor. We're going to factor what's inside the parentheses. So, y equals, what do you know about x squared plus 4x plus 4? I just completed the square. Yeah. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of the 4 at the end is 2. The sign in the middle is plus. So that factors into x plus 2 times x plus 2, or x plus 2 quantity squared. Clean up the end. Minus 6 minus 4 is minus 10. You have just written it in vertex form. Instead of using our axis of symmetry negative b over 2a formula, but it's the same idea. Now, my directions asked me for vertex form. My directions also asked me what is the vertex. So go digging. You guys just quizzed over this. Where is the vertex in vertex form? H and K? So what are my H and K here? Okay, so vertex, remember it's HK. What kind of 2 did you guys say? Negative 2, and what kind of 10? Negative 10. Because you change the sign on H, right? If it says x plus 2, we're going to use negative 2, and you keep the K as is. So you keep the negative 10. So the vertex is negative 2, negative 10. If you're kind of understanding the completing the square process, this one's not a whole lot different. Okay, it's just getting it all straight. Questions on that one? Okay, let's do one more then. What is y equals 3x? Excuse me, what is y equals x squared plus 3x minus 6 in vertex form? And what is the vertex? Okay, I want my x squared plus bx, so x squared plus 3x out front in the parentheses. My c value, push it down outside the parentheses. So y equals, parentheses, x squared plus 3x. I'm going to leave a gap. Minus 6 goes outside. What's my step 2? Okay. 3 over 2, quantity squared. Honestly, I'm going to leave it in fraction form. I know it's going to torture some of you, but okay. So when we square 3 over 2, 3 squared is 9, 2 squared is 4, so 9 over 4. What do I do with that 9/4? Okay, so if there's 2 opposite sides, we add it to both sides. Here, we add it in the parentheses, and then since we're on the same side, to keep it balanced, step 3 is to factor. Okay, yes, it's a fraction, but that does not make it difficult. 2 identical parentheses. X squared. What's the square root of x squared? X. What's the square root of 9/4? Square root of 3? Or, excuse me, square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. So it's 3 over 2. Remember yesterday how I said it's always this value right here? Notice it still is, right? So this is a 3 over 2. Middle sign was plus, so this is a plus. So it's x plus 3/2 squared minus 6 minus 9/4. I like it. Okay. Think common denominator, guys. 6 is a fraction, 6 over 1. So I have 6 over 1, 9 over 4. How do I make 6 over 1 have a denominator of 4? Multiply by 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 4 is 4. So if you need a work step here, negative 24/4 minus 9/4. Negative 24 minus 9 is negative 33. So it's, whoops, minus 33/4. Okay. Okay, negative 3 over 2, because we changed the sign on H, and then negative 33/4. Okay. Work on completing the square, guys. It's going to take a little bit of practice, but it's very doable. You have some homework in Math Excel. It's lesson 4-6. I want you guys to get started on that. Use the time wisely.